Well, the reaction, of course, has been a positive one, as we've seen the reaction from the US as well. So far, the President's office has released a statement saying that it sees this latest development as meaningful progress that will lead to the denuclearizing of the Korean Peninsula, which the statement said is what the whole world wishes for. Also, the President's office saying that this really creates positive conditions for the upcoming summit on the 27th between Kim Jong Un and President Moon Jae-in of South Korea. In truth, there's not a lot that is different in terms of the moratorium, the freeze on nuclear tests and missile tests. That had already been announced by the DPRK. This is really just formalizing it. What is really of interest here is something that's not making big headlines elsewhere around the world. Something else that came out of that statement is the DPRK is abandoning its Byongjin policy, which Kim Jong Un has followed ever since taking office, and that is putting the development of the nuclear missiles program on the same level as developing the economy. And in that latest statement, it said that the DPRK is abandoning that policy towards one that just focuses on the economy. So that has real substance here in Seoul. You know, that is getting a big reaction. In terms of the freeze on the missile and the nuclear test, well, that had already been announced, as had the completion of the missile programs. It was sort of just a formalization. But this is very big because this signals a new direction for DPRK policy. It's signaling it to the people of the DPRK in that broadcast. So it's taken very seriously here in Seoul and very much welcomed.
But Jack, here's the thing, Kim Jong Un didn't actually say anything about denuclearization, only that he's suspending missile tests. So given that it's been one surprise after another this year, is denuclearization on the peninsula at all likely?
Well, he did talk about denuclearization. There was denuclearization in there, but it's sort of in the same way that other big powers have signed on to denuclearization, because ever since the Cold War with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which most big nuclear powers have signed on to, apart from India and Pakistan, all the big powers, China, the United States, have committed to denuclearization. Just no one really sort of gets about doing it in a hurry. And what the DPRK is signaling is it wants to get on board the same sort of denuclearization that the other big nuclear powers have. So that is a commitment to non-proliferation, to not sharing technology or weapons, to slowly downsizing the arsenal perhaps, but to keep the arsenal, because that statement did say, you know, we will only use our weapons if there is further aggression. So clearly they're going to keep the weapons. Also, no talk about removing or destroying thousands of centrifuges that they have, or the reactors capable of making nuclear materials. No talk at all or mention about stopping actually producing nuclear weapons or fitting them onto missiles. So, you know, it seems, yeah, from that program will continue. Clearly, as Moon said, it's a positive step towards the summit, but you know, this isn't a final point at all. One really welcome point in this, though, is the shutting down of the Pyongyang test site near China, because many people here thought after that last really big test that it was so compromised, that site, that another test there might blow the top of the mountain right off and essentially create a Fukushima incident near the Chinese border. It would probably affect South Korea and Japan. It was really causing a lot of concern here. So there will be a lot of relief with this announcement that that test site will be officially shut down.
All right, thank you.